today. I was just hitting 165 for a few pause reps, and mid-set suddenly having flashbacks to the British champs 6 weeks ago where I came rock bottom last, and it's got me thinking, why am I not a top level athlete? Hello guys, it's Sunday today. It's just gone midday and I've pretty much just woken up. Last night I had a pretty horrendous migraine and just felt absolutely grim this morning, which is really annoying because I was meant to be going paintballing today, but I've had to sack that off just because I was literally in no fit state this morning to do anything, let alone be shot in the head by a paintball. So I didn't sleep at all well last night. I have caught up on those hours I missed this morning, and I am feeling a lot better for it. But I feel like I need to get to the gym and just do something because I've just been indoors really for the whole weekend, and I just feel like I need to get my heart rate going. So obviously I'm not going to do anything powerlifting related because I don't want that to affect my training next week, but I thought just a quick half an hour of cardio would do me some good.
I never really see you blush. I never really cared for Navy. I never really cared that much. Now I'm running on empty. Running on empty. Running on empty.
Right, cardio done. Consisted of the 100 calorie challenge, which is basically doing 10 calories on the assault bike, followed by 10 push-ups and then 10 squat jumps, and just do 10 rounds of that, just non-stop, just keep going as long as you can. It is absolutely brutal. I had to stop halfway through, so I did basically 2 lots of 50. Did it in about 18 minutes, but mate, it's an absolute killer. Who's that? Someone's waving at me. William? William? What are you doing here?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, mate.
What are you doing?
Well, I was thinking...
I'm just going for a roast at the Beehive.
You're going for a roast at the Beehive?
Yeah.
I'm going for a roast at the Beehive.
No.
We're both going for a roast at the Beehive.
Both going for a roast at the Beehive.
Shall we skip? First meal of the day, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's go.
Didn't make it, was sickened in Catford Park.
Nice. So I haven't actually eaten anything all day. It's now 2:25 and I've obviously just had that session in the gym, but it's not uncommon for me to do this. I mean, I quite like fasting anyway. I don't really have breakfast. My first meal isn't normally until about sort of 1 o'clock anyway, so yeah, I don't really know why I do that. I just don't really like eating breakfast, and in terms of dieting it's actually quite handy because then obviously you have less time to eat food, so generally you lose weight. So that does look pretty good, mate.
Very exciting.
Obviously I've gone full hog and got
Full Monty,
the full Monty, and I've gone for the Beehive roast, which is basically all the meat. So I'm just going to have my starter and then I'll have my main course. Liquid starter. Completed it, mate.
Defeated.
Defeated? Mate, you've done a good job there. Look at the size of your plate compared to mine.
So if I just stop the video here a minute, guys, I know what you're thinking. Matt, I agree with you. How are you not a top level athlete? You're going to the gym, you're working hard, you're even doing a little bit of cardio, and now you're going for a roast dinner to have some nice protein and some healthy veg? Well, let's continue with the video.
So decided I'm going to have another liquid starter.
Too shabby Alonso.
Shabby Alonso. Is this the special cheesecake?
Yeah, it's really good, mate.
Is it? Yeah.
He's made it, that's what he's saying, it's really good.
And obviously I got a dessert.
He's got a little bit, hasn't
You can see that he's got.
he? You can see that he's got a little bit, hasn't he? So you've got a bit, like you passed it.
That's good.
How is it? Is it alright? Is it
Amazing.
lively?
I'm still feeling a little bit peckish, so Will has kindly offered to get me another starter.
Hope you're hungry, man.
Thank you very much, mate. This may or may not be my 5th starter. This has just turned into a bit of a bender, Will. Sunday night bender. Cheers.
Tits and lost tits.
Okay, so this has turned into a full-blown bender. I'm now on my 6th, so before you think that my diet consists of just roast dinners and beer, I have also got some pork scratchings with a lot of hair on it. You know, it's a proper pork scratching where it's got hair on it.
Who she made it to? So it's made it. Was it you? Me. I didn't really have anything to eat today, and I ran 3 pints, so it's fine.
Why not? I did, because I was getting cold. Oh, right.
Because
Blown directly at me.
Me and Will got here at 2. It's now 9:15, and I haven't left. And I've only had 1 meal.
they've been here the whole time.
Brilliant.
Humans over here. These are the specimens of the pub.
We're the foreigners.
How's your night been?
Brilliant.
Good.
Stop filming.
Is it closing time now, Courtney?
Yes, it is.
Alright, back to you, future Matt. Does it make a little bit more sense why you're not a top level athlete now?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, yeah. Okay, back from the gym, and I'm going to elaborate slightly on what I was semi-joking about, but at the end of the day it is actually serious and it's 100% true. One of the big reasons why I'm not fulfilling potential in terms of actually becoming a half decent lifter is distractions away from the gym, mainly being that with diet and obviously the consumption of alcohol. Now, I'm not saying at any point I've ever been dependent on alcohol, but definitely that's part of my life in terms of my social life, and I actually enjoy going out having a beer with family and friends, and it has been a part of my life for ever since I was 18, really, ever since I could drink. I always enjoyed going out and socialising, but obviously that is detrimental to being in the gym. You can't really have both of those and be at the top of the sport, and I understand that, but I think it's more from my side, it's a dependency in as much as instant gratification, I suppose, is the best way of putting it, and having things like alcohol where you actually do become a slightly different person, and you have a lot of fun. The same with food, instant gratification. I will just have go out and get a McDonald's just because it makes me feel good momentarily, and that is sort of traits of poor mental health, and I've always acknowledged that. Just with my past with my gambling, which I still continue to battle with, that doesn't just go away overnight. I've always been fairly transparent and talked about that with relevant people, but I feel like definitely that's a trait that I have. I have quite an addictive personality, and actually luckily with the gym I never skip gym sessions, and that's one thing that I am very regimented with, and it's almost I put so much effort into that I then don't put the rest of my effort into things like diet, because I don't enjoy dieting, and it comes back to that instant gratification. So yeah, although I sort of joke about I go out and have a beer and I don't take the whole lifting thing that seriously, there's a bigger reason for that. Like I say, is that sort of instant gratification, and that need for that big dose of serotonin, which is basically what it is. And yeah, that's just always been me really. For most of my life I've always been that guy, the yes guy I suppose, and my mates will attest to this. They will say that whenever I'm asked if I want to do something, more often than not I'll say yes, and I'll be willing to do it. It's kind of like that fear of missing out. I'm just always wanting to do something, so I think that obviously comes to its detriment, because if you want to be good at a sport or anything really, when you have other distractions which actually don't help you to get to that level, then obviously it's just going to be detrimental. But I think the first thing is about recognising that. So I have recognised that for a long time. I've realised that I have an addictive personality, and it's just about talking about it, acknowledging it, and yeah, just making sure that that doesn't overtake the other things in your life. So things like the training, as long as I can sort of go out and have fun and keep a sort of lid on it and don't push that to the extreme, but I can still go and be healthy in as much as training is concerned, then yeah, I think it's a good balance. But from that point of view, I'm never going to be a world champion because I don't have that full package, I suppose. And I completely acknowledge that, and obviously things like genetics come into it anyway. Like, I might not be genetically gifted enough to be one of the best lifters, even if I did have the best diet. But yeah, I just thought I'd quickly touch on that. Sorry to get a little bit serious, but it is something, especially after yesterday when I did have all of those beers. I just sort of got home, I was just like, why do I do that? Why do I literally go to the pub and I can't just have a couple of beers and just have that's it and then go home? It's almost like I thrive off that sort of enjoyment of the social side of it, and it's just about being sensible really, and really trying to learn to control those urges to do things like that, but it's just, yeah, one step at a time kind of thing. Anyway, enough talk about that sort of stuff. Guess where I'm off to? So obviously not drinking tonight, just having a lemonade and a nice little chicken salad. So it is fairly ironic really that the other day was World Mental Health Day, and I think probably on some level it sparked a subconscious thing in me to kind of want to talk about it. But yeah, I know of people, friends that have gone through a similar thing. You know, be that addiction or just suffering with their mental health, and you know, it's one of those things that talking about it really does help. And I actually was listening into a conversation in the pub which really disappointed me the other day. It was a couple of weeks ago, but a couple of blokes were in the bar and they were saying it's now fashionable to have mental health issues, and I just thought that was obviously a very disappointing thing to hear. Some people demonising people for actually being brave enough to talk about it, and you know, it's one of these things that people are always going to be negative, but the more people that are able to talk about it, and you know, if it helps more people, then keep talking about it, and then eventually it will shut the fuckers up that want to just demonise and, you know, belittle people for speaking up against how they're actually feeling. So, you know, it just goes to show that there are still problems with it, and it is still, you know, people are still stigmatised for talking about how they're really feeling, especially blokes. I think for sort of young guys it is a lot harder. So yeah, just wanted to share that. It was very disappointing. Unfortunately I didn't have the balls to actually step up and say anything to them at the time, and I really should have done, but yeah, it's just one of these things. So for all of you out there that still want to demonise people for talking about mental health and discussing how they're really feeling, fuck you. Because if talking about how you're actually feeling saves someone's fucking life, then I think it's worth it. Anyway, that's my little rant over. I'm going to sign out the video, guys. Take care of yourselves. Remember to talk to people, and just don't be an arsehole. Be friendly to people. Alright, take care. Peace.